Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tyler alongside me, Holden, and we are going to nuke the props. What is up, Tyler? I just saw that I'm on the same prop as Keg, so I don't know if I'm screwed because I made the bet or Keg screwed because he made the bet. So not a good scene over here, but I think it's actually going to pay off because it's one bet that I absolutely love, and he took it to another level. And you were just talking to me about Derrick Henry. Don't give out the play, but talk to me about Derrick Henry this week, dude, because this guy just does not stop.
Oh, yeah. He should absolutely crush this Washington defense. I mean, Washington, they've been a fun story for a few weeks, but they've beat up on some bad defenses. Now they're going to play this Baltimore team. I think Baltimore could just steamroll them in this matchup. And I'd love to bet on Derrick Henry in this matchup, but we'll talk about his numbers. Wow, are they very overpriced.
They're overpriced, you're saying. But you still want to look there. Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, I think he could score 2 touchdowns. I'm not betting a plus 160 on him to score 2 touchdowns. I think he could score 3 touchdowns in this game. How often do you see 3 touchdowns listed at plus 650?
I don't know. We hit the Kittle last night at 14-1 on his second touchdown. A few of us did, but not to harp on last night because this will be watched through the weekend. But the Jordan Mason was the biggest blow to the season because we had him laddered up 120, 125, and he was well on his way to busting through that. I mean, there was a full drive at the end of the second quarter, and he was already over 60 yards. Like all of that cashes last night. It just reminds you, Tyler. It reminds you. Yeah, it reminds you in the NFL, dude, an injury can just put you down so quickly. It doesn't happen as much in baseball, hockey a little bit, NBA very rarely, but the NFL, man, the NFL can just kill you. Absolutely kill you. So with the injuries, but we're going to go back to the well, man. It's not going to happen every single week. It's going to happen sometimes, and shit happens, right? I mean, big deal. We're going to get it back this Sunday, and I'm very confident about that. You know what? I am going to let you go first here. I'm going to let you give out your best. How many bets you got this week, Tyler?
I got probably like a 3 or a 4 pack for you. Maybe a couple outliers.
All right, what's your second prop? Your second best prop of the week? Why don't you throw that out at me first?
Second best, and I got to hurry up and rank them in my head. We'll go.
Yeah, go rank them in your head.
My second best.
Yeah,
we'll go with the second best one. We'll go to the Colts Titans game. I mean, the Colts can't cover wide receivers to save their life.
No.
I really don't care who's playing quarterback for Tennessee. I know Levis could throw the ball to the other team a lot, but he could also throw the ball to Calvin Ridley, and he showed that against the Jets. And Calvin Ridley's numbers at 46.5 against a defense that can't cover. We just seen what Brian Thomas did to this defense last week. This could be a nice spot for Calvin Ridley to crush out 46.5. He could even clear 100 in this. You can get a fat number on 100. And I love his anytime touchdown. So love Calvin Ridley this week.
You got me thinking about a Calvin because I write a few of the intros for the game plan, which if you're not a member and you haven't checked out the game plan, you got to read them because Keg gives all of his pregame thoughts, live betting targets. It's absolutely an amazing tool that we have there at Nuke the House. So when I was researching the Lions, I think they've lost 5 straight to the Cowboys. And speaking of Calvin, the last time they beat the Cowboys was 2013. Calvin Johnson had 329 receiving yards. Do you remember that? 329 receiving yards? That's insane.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
That one, I remember the Julio game where he had I think he had 300 and no touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some crazy stat lines from these wide receivers.
Yeah, he's been absolutely nuts. And no, jabroni, they're saying they don't think it's as serious to keep him out for the season. So that's what you got. Hey, hit the like button if you get a second. If you haven't checked this out yet, make sure you do so. NukeTheHouse.com. Subscribe to any package. We're not going to charge it. Just use the code NUKENFL, NUKENFL. We're giving you a free week. So that means you get, first of all, you get the MMA stuff. You get NASCAR tomorrow. You're going to get NFL on Thursday. Well, we already did Thursday. You're going to get it Sunday for our premium shows from 1 through the 4 o'clock games. So that's only behind the paywall. So you'll get those. You'll get the second half of Sunday Night Football, which is premium only. Second half of Monday Night Football, which is premium only. Access to our spreadsheet where our guys are up a ridiculous amount of money. So make sure you sign up, nukethehouse.com. Let's get going. It'll be absolutely spectacular. Okay, so let me give you my best bet, okay? And I feel better that Keg is on this, but I feel worse because Keg's on this. So Josh Jacobs, right? He's got a nice matchup this week against the Cardinals. They can't stop anybody. And he has 18 carries per game. His line is 16 and a half this week. 18 carries per game. And Arizona's allowed the eighth most fantasy points. Now, why are you going fantasy points? Why are you looking at it that way? Because really it kind of encapsulates exactly what a team is doing against running backs. And then when you dig deeper into the numbers, they get hammered on the ground, not just not receivers or anything like that. They get hammered on the ground. Green Bay, to me, is going to run the shit out of Josh Jacobs. He's averaging 4.5 yards per carry on 90 carries this year. 90 carries already this season. 75% snap share last week. For those of you that are worried about Emmanuel Wilson, last 2 weeks, 6 and 8 carries. He's going to spell Jacobs a couple of times during this game. I just don't see it, though. I don't see Jacobs getting any less than 17 carries this week. As a matter of fact, he's averaging 19 and a half carries per game on the season. Good game script to me. We can't predict game script, but Jacobs over 16 and a half for me, 16 and a half carries, and we're getting it at almost even money. So thoughts on Josh Jacobs? You can tell me it stinks. You can tell me it's good. What do you think of Jacobs this week against Arizona?
Yeah, I love that play. I think the only way you lose, as you said it, is the game script. Is if this game script just goes wildly away from you. Say Arizona goes out and goes up 21-0 real quick, and Green Bay's just forced to throw the ball, and they got to get away from the run. The other game scripts, I can't really see them going away from the run. Even if Green Bay gets up huge, like they're gonna run Josh Jacobs. If the game's close, they're gonna run him. The only way this probably loses is if they get blown out, and I think they cover the spread and win the game. So I like where you're sitting with this pick.
If you think he's getting 17 carries, do you think he gets 66 yards? 67 yards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
versus this
maybe
defense,
that's maybe that's something to look at as well. Keg took a little different angle, but only subscribers are getting his pregame and picks. And Jabroni, with all due respect, I will not sign up. Okay. You don't like money? You don't like money. That's all I can tell you. You know how big a night it would have been if Mason doesn't get hurt? It's just absolutely amazing. Hold on a second, Maddie. He's laddering
I don't think
Joe
Flacco's playing.
Flacco.
I wouldn't do that. I don't think Flacco's playing. I'm almost positive they announced Richardson's playing like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, won't they void the bets if he doesn't see the field? The problem is if Richardson gets hurt again and he throws 2 passes, then he's screwed. So, yeah, I mean, if Anthony Richardson in, it's
tracking to play week 6.
Yeah, if Richardson is in, forget about it. I think it's really a downgrade of that offense outside of Downs, who's just been getting peppered, whether it's with Richardson, who I don't even know if they played very much because Richardson went down and Josh Downs came back off an injury. But when you look at the small sample that these two guys have played, he's still going to go downfield to Downs. So the Downs play is still in action if you want that. All right, what's your best bet this week, Mr.
Best
Tyler?
bet? Best bet, we got a couple best bets in this game. I mean, you already talked about it. It's Detroit-Dallas. Yeah. I think Detroit -3 is absolutely free. I think that's the easiest side on the board. I think they smash Dallas. I think their run offense runs right through Dallas. I mean, they made Najee look respectable, and Najee's not all that good. And our offensive line in Pittsburgh isn't all that good either. Now they're going to play Detroit, best offensive line in the league, 2 of the best running backs. David Montgomery at 56.5. I know Gibbs gets a lot of work too, but Gibbs is up into the 60s now. I'd rather take Montgomery at the lower number. We know he's going to get the work. He's going to get the goal line carries. He can easily get into the 60 yards. We've seen them both get into the 60s, 70s range. So 56.5 on Montgomery. I think he crushes that number this week.
Oh, man. All right. Very good. Hold on. Bouncing out, but it might be on me too. So too worried about All right, I should be back. I'm sorry about that,
Nope, we
Tyler.
lost him.
Anyways, were you just
I
shitting
wasn't
your
sure if
pants?
that I wasn't sure if that was me or you, so I just went silent because I didn't want my voice to be all
Yeah.
skippy through the video, and then you disappeared.
What am I doing? Am I just going to sit here instead of Holden and just sit here and not talk? What are we going to do? All right, so we got that out of the way. Like button would be great. Okay, next thing that I'm going to stick with you on the Lions game, and in Adam, Iowa. If you watch our live shows, he kind of got me on a little alt play here, but for me, Jamison Williams over 21 and a half longest reception. You're getting it right around, I'd say -10. Dallas has allowed 8 receptions of 22 yards or more. You want to tell me who is a scarier deep threat in the league right now than Jamison Williams? I mean, this could go to hell easily because if Goff doesn't hit him on target, then there's a little bit of a problem. But I love Williams to get a big catch again this week. And again, Dallas has given up some really big plays.
Yeah, I love that call. I feel like that's the best way to bet him outside of betting his touchdown or his yards. Because if he cashes his yards, he probably has the deep, long reception. He probably gets the touchdown too, but I'd rather just take that longest reception. Maybe he just catches a deep ball, gets tackled right once he catches the ball, and that's all he has. One catch for 47 yards. So I love that call on the longest reception.
Well, here's the other one, though. And Adam told me that this would be a good way to attack this. And I think we've already done this year. Maddie does this a lot. Maddie's in the chat, too. So he's like, if you want to go a little different way, shoot for the moon. And this is basically a quarter. This isn't even a quarter. This is a quarter unit play combined. So it's like 12. It's like, I don't know. What is that? 12% of a unit, 12.5% of a unit. So I'm going to get crazy on you, Tyler. Williams under 3.5 receptions, 60 plus yards is almost plus 1,500. You're almost getting, what is that, 150 to 1?
Yeah, those reverse correlations. I don't hate it. My worry, though, is he's been so much more of a target in this offense this year.
Yeah, he had a couple of games early on where he had 5 catches. That'd be an eighth of a unit. What the hell do I know? I don't know what it is. I'm just telling you what it is. And then I'm trying to come up here plus 1491. What's that? 150 to 1? Something like that. Something like that. I don't know. And then really getting crazy now, Tyler. As Jabroni would say, an eighth of a unit. Williams under 3.5 catches and 100 yards plus. 15,776 to 1. So if we're going to shoot for the moon and you want to put an eighth of a unit down on a play, 15776 plus 15776 is what we're getting out of Williams there. So under 3.5 and 60 plus, under 3.5 and 100 plus, and then the full unit play on the Williams over 21.5 longest receptions. I mean, I just absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It hit last week, Matt. Yeah, of course. That's the week I didn't bet it. So hopefully he doesn't get 5 catches against the Cowboys. Hopefully he doesn't get 4 catches against the Cowboys. But at those numbers, for a little sprinkle to have some fun, since I already like the guy, why not? By the way, if you want to drop your best player prop in the chat, we could talk about it. Maybe you got any questions. Tyler can answer your questions. I'll add my 2 cents. I mean, basically 1 cent from me. But drop them in the chat and we'll see what you got. For those of you watching on X, come on over to our YouTube channel when you get a chance. Maybe right now. Go to Nuke the House on YouTube. When you go to Nuke the House on YouTube, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, and you'll know when we are on. We just have so many shows. We have so many live shows. Nobody broadcasts more live shows than Keg and us boys here at Nuke the House. Every single NFL game, 25 hours plus a week. Here's the best part about our service. You don't have to watch the games. You don't have to watch the sporting events. We will send you real-time in-game betting notifications right to your phone. That's what you get when you sign up at Nuke the House and nukethehouse.com. Ooh, he kind of likes McLaurin to do that this week. Same play with McLaurin. I might take a sprinkle then, Maddie. I'll talk to you about that. All right, Tyler, what's the next bet we're looking at?
Yeah, this is an ugly one, Holden. Let's go to New England where we're getting Drake May season started. Jalen Polk's been one of the highest separation receivers all year. Jacoby Brissett just wouldn't throw the ball downfield. Now Drake May is going to take some chances downfield. Hopefully he just gets some time for Polk to get down the field and get separated from his corner. Because at 25.5, Polk could cash that prop in 1 catch. You look at his alts, you're getting a 40 plus at plus 220, all the way up to about 70 plus is about 11-1. So I think it's Jalen Polk season in New England. The weather could hamper this a bit. It's supposed to rain, but I think he gets open downfield. May finds him for a long one, and he cashes a few of these props. So love the Jalen Polk side this week.
You bring that up. Drake May's passing reception is 159.5. And I know that he looked like he shit his pants in the limited action that he had, but can you see Drake May getting over 159.5 yards this week? I know it's a scary bet, but I can see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be the highest recording rookie when it comes to passing yards. I think there's another guy that's going to do that, but I think he can throw for 160.
All right, here's another one I discussed with Iowa. I was already looking at. I was digging into Jamar Chase and T. Higgins props. Okay, so the Chase looks good. I'll wait for somebody else at the shop to ladder him if they want to do that. The guy that I'm interested in is T. Higgins. And when Adam was on the bet that I was thinking of, I said, forget about it. I'll give him a shout out and I'll take it myself. So Higgins' line here is 4.5 receptions. It was even money earlier today. Now it's minus 105. Last 2 games since returning in week 3, because week 3 was eased back into the offense. 6 catches, 10 targets, 9 catches, 14 targets. I think the floor on this guy, in all honesty, is probably 8 targets. That's the floor for T. Higgins, because we're starting to get a funnel here. We know who Burrow is going to go to. Sure, Shivas is out there, but he's going to go to Jamar Chase 1. He's going to go to T. Higgins 2. Or maybe he goes to Higgins a little bit more than Jamar Chase, and Chase is just the more explosive player. So I'm looking at this right now. The Giants are allowing the 28th worst completion percentage at 70%. So you throw the ball to a receiver, they're catching it 7 out of 10 times. Burrow averaging 34 passes a game at a 72.3% clip. Now, the Giants are getting a pass rush, Tyler. We know this. They have been getting to the quarterback a bit, but this is a pass first offense. As explosive as Chase Brown is, and I kind of wanted to look at his longest rush too, I think that T. Higgins is in a spot here where this probably should be 5.5 at plus money as opposed to 4.5 at just about even money. The projections around the industry, I'm seeing anywhere from 4.7 catches to 5.4 catches. So everybody in the industry that has projections is even saying that T. Higgins is going over 4.5 receptions minus 105. Thoughts on T. Higgins this week?
Yeah, I love it. I totally agree with you. That should be 5.5 with the way he's used in this offense. At any moment, he could become the guy that just gets peppered. But if he all of a sudden has the big play that Chase has had the last couple of weeks, maybe they think T. Higgins just has the hot hand. He gains a couple more of those targets from Chase. So he can even steal from Yoshi Gasecki. I love that play at 4.5. I will be on that also. That
You're
play
gonna bet the T. Higgins. Okay, very good. Yeah, I threw a half unit on it. That's where I am with my props for the most part now, except for the Josh Jacobs. Since Keg was on it, you actually got a pick here that I was on and Keg was on, so I gave you a little bit out. If Keg's on it, I feel much better. Tyler, give me another prop.
Another one?
One more.
He said it in the interviews. Spencer Rattler says he loves Chris Olave. He's a different player. He's going to pelt them with the ball. And now they're playing Tampa Bay, whose defense did not look good. Mm-hmm. I'm a little higher on Rattler than some people. I think he's one of the better rookie quarterbacks that's coming out of this class. How hard is it to just throw the ball to Olave? And it's not like the Saints offense has looked better this year than it did last year. They actually have a competent offensive coordinator. I think he can step in and throw the ball to these weapons and get them the ball. So Olave props this week, 48.5 on his receiving yards. He could crush that versus the secondary. So if he's going to pepper him with the ball, like he says in the interviews, 4.5 on his receptions, 48.5 on his yards. I'm on both of those.
Hey, is there a game in particular you're kind of targeting that you're looking at for player props, or is it just player by player? Because, this Dallas-Detroit game, you and I both like a lot of points to be put up. So naturally, we're going to gravitate toward that game. The Arizona defense, we want to target them. So we're going to target them with Josh Jacobs. Is there a game that you're seeing this week that you say, oh boy, this is probably a game I want to get a little bit invested to Is it the Detroit Dallas game, or is that just not how you bet?
That's normally not how I bet. Like, I see what you're saying. Like, you pick out the game's highest totals, maybe target the player props there. I like to go look at the matchups versus positions. Who's getting gouged by running backs? Who's letting these wide receivers run wide open? Who's letting the quarterbacks throw for 300 yards a game, and kind of base my picks off of there. So just target what the defenses are weak at that moment in time. So
Well,
that's
I
how
love
I'd rather
talking
do
about
it than just
theory.
targeting a single game.
Yeah, I love talking about theory and betting theory. So let's talk about your process, Tyler. They start dropping the props on Wednesday. When do you start looking at the props? Do you look at your own projections before the props are even dropped? What is your process behind coming up with the player props?
Yeah, don't look at my own projections. Kind of have an idea of where I want to be before looking at the prop numbers. Like, for instance, when the game popped up this week, you see Detroit Dallas. It's like, probably want to be on the Detroit's running game, probably Montgomery's rush yards. In my head, I don't want to go any higher than 70, and it comes out at about 56.5 when I see it. So that's about where I want stuff to be. And you just play it through your head. It's like, how does he not get there? It would be if Dallas somehow their defense showed up again, Dak played well, and they had to go to Gibbs a lot more, and they were playing from behind. So just always got to look at the outs also when you go to make a bet.
So when you're betting, right? And we kind of covered the theory here. How much do you tail? Do you tail a lot of plays?
Uh, somewhat, but it's always from the same guys, always from our guys.
Always from Nuke the House, guys. Well, that's going to keep you
Yeah.
profitable then. Again, smash the like button if you get a shot and check us out for a free week. I mean, even who was that? Jabroni's like, I'm not going to sign up. Check us out for a free week then. That's not going to cost you anything, dude, unless you forget to cancel your subscription, but go for it. NukeTheHouse.com. Sign up for any plan. We're not going to charge you and use the code Nuke NFL. Like, how do you not take advantage of a 1 week free trial? And then when you see what we do, I mean, again, it's a 1 week sample. So we could have a down week. We could also have just a monster week again. Um, it's worth a try just on a free roll, man. I just don't see where it doesn't make sense. Back to the Cowboys Lions game. What about the running game? Now, Rico Dowdle, I don't think he's going to have success. Didn't think he'd have success last week either, though, and he blew through it. But what about the Detroit side with Montgomery and Gibbs? Do you have any thoughts there?
I think Montgomery smashes. That's my favorite prop of the week. I think he goes over his yards. Gibbs could easily get over that 58.5. He's also getting lined with. I don't hate doing like a same game parlay with both of those guys. Say both of those guys to get 60 rushing yards, and Dallas or Detroit covers that -3. I don't think that's a bad way to bet this. Like, I
So
think
do
that they
you
could just run the ball down their throat. Maybe they get a deep ball to Jameson Williams or two, and then from there, Dallas just can't stop them. So, and on the other side, I don't think Rico Dowdle gets anywhere near that 43. I mean, you've seen how Detroit's been able to stifle the run all year. The only reason he was able to get the run going last week was because Pittsburgh's offense couldn't keep their defense off the field. Fields and those guys would go out there for 3 plays and put the defense right back out there. Halfway through the third quarter, those guys are gassed. They've been on the field way too much, and Dowdle turned into Emmett Smith and started running through our defense. So I don't see that happening against the Detroit defense. I'd go under on Dowdle, over on the other two guys.
That's something I got to get better at too, because sometimes I'll look at a line and I'll say to myself, gee, last week I didn't think he was going to crush, and then he crushed. But then if you just flip the page and just not be like you've been beaten the week before, if you just look at the data again, Dowdle is nothing special at all. I mean, I don't see
Yeah.
a guy with breakaway speed. I don't see the offensive line building anything for him. So while I'm not going to be on Dowdle, that to me just seems like a spot where logic says, and even the numbers say, he's just not going to get there. Like, okay, he had one game where everybody was watching national TV, had some nice runs in that game. Again, the Detroit run defense is as good as it gets. So if he gets there, I mean, it's good for him. I mean, he's just going to beat you that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to look at the numbers, the Lions, this is average throughout the year. Two running backs are giving up 16 carries, 58.5 yards, and about 3.64 yards per carry. I don't think Dowdle gets to 16 carries. He probably gets to around 12, 13, and that's if they can keep the game close. I don't think he gets anywhere near the yardage, so I love the under on Dowdle. I wouldn't
I
be
want to go
surprised if Dowdle ran for like 20 yards this week.
20 yards for I don't think so either. I mean, the corpse of Zeke Elliott is still out there, but he's basically been forced out of the rotation. What's he getting? 4 or 5 touches a game? I mean, I don't have
You
the
know
game
how
log
much he
in
was
front of
forced
me.
out of the rotation, Holden? They were on the goal line at the end of that game against Pittsburgh at 1 a.m. And they were trying to run Rico Dotto instead of just running Zeke right in between the tackles, just trying to punch it into the end zone.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me how he still has a job. But again, I really do believe he has something on Jerry Jones, 100%. All right, let's go back and just recap our best bets, and then we'll get out of here. Again, I'm going to throw my best bet on Jacobs. I'm going to go back there. I think he goes over 16 and a half rushing attempts, and I already gave you the reason why, but for everybody that wants to see more Emmanuel Wilson, you're just not going to get it. 4.5 yards per carry is good. Does Jacobs look like a plotter at this point, Tyler? Yeah, he does. But the numbers say otherwise. Now, I also love Jaden Reed in that game. I didn't pull the trigger. I talked to Iowa about it. He's like, maybe I talked to him about Zay Flowers, not Jaden Reed. I might have talked myself out of Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed is that number one option. Watson's back at practice. Wicks is starting to get more run. Dobbs should be back this week. So tell me something. Am I a pussy for not hitting the trigger on Jaden Reed's over yards? Because the dude's just been lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, whenever Jordan Love's on the field, I'm pretty sure he's crossed 100 in every game. He's the deep ball threat. I mean, they all kind of are, but he will catch that deep ball down the middle. I got our guy Jamie actually described him well. He's almost like a Debo light. Like he runs a lot of these underneath routes, catches a lot of pitch passes. He's not as big as Debo. He's a lot skinnier, but he runs a lot of the same kind of routes. So, and he's definitely by far Jordan Love's favorite target. So I don't hate going back in on Jaden Reed in this matchup. It's not like Arizona has any corners to slow him down.
No. Give me your best bet in this game. Again, I'll just have to go back to the drawing board and talk to people smarter than me. But what is your best bet for this week, dude?
For this week, we're going to go with the David Montgomery over 56.5 rushing yards. I think he gets into the 70s. I think he scores a touchdown. I think there's a possibility he falls in the box twice against this Dallas team.
Wow. All right. Very good. We'll take it. Hey, Keg just threw a whole bunch of player props up in the chat. So for those of you, there's a couple of ladders in there. For those of you that are subscribers, go check it out. It's in the Discord. I'm sure they'll be up on the spreadsheet in just a minute if they're not already. So go do that. NukeTheHouse.com, free week, Nuke NFL, Nuke NFL. And don't forget, on top of all this, that you're not just getting NFL in our premium shows in NFL. We have MMA. We have, I know Coop's throwing some golf in there. I didn't even know golf was going on right now. So we got NASCAR. Our team just absolutely mauls NASCAR. Now, I would tell you, though, I have to be completely transparent. I would not bet NASCAR unless you're watching the live show. The real-time in-game betting notifications, the lines just move so fast. But if you really want a cash cow, just devote some time to NASCAR, sit there, watch the boys, and bet along with them because it is an absolutely insane unit count that these guys are up. Plus, coming up soon, within the next couple of weeks, maybe week and a half, we're going to have our NBA show, live betting show. Spread's going to do the first couple. I think Zargo is going to be on these shows, giving out some NHL plays. So if you like the NBA and or NHL, you like winning money, we're going to bet them live. We'll do that Wednesdays. And I know I want you to do some stuff for the NBA too, because you're pretty sharp, dude. You excited about NBA season?
Yeah, it's fun to be back.
Man,
it's going to be a fun season. I think Victor's going to absolutely dominate this year. So that'll be the main topic all year.
Didn't really sound like you were that excited. I'm going to be honest with you, man. You just said,
NBA is more of a grind hole, and you got to let it just slowly come back. And then
just let it build and build and build. Okay. Well, good. This has been great, buddy. I really appreciate everything you've done for me. I'm just placing a bet right now because I saw Keg's picks in the Discord. Don't forget on the way out, smash the like button and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Nuke the House YouTube channel. Get all of our shows. We just have so much going on. Mondays, Keg and I break down Monday Night Football at 4:00 Eastern. Plus, We recap what happened on Sunday and see if we can apply that to the next week's games. Wednesdays, Keg and I do football. That's the action plan. We break down every single NFL game with the exception of Sunday night and Monday night. We get the Thursday night out there. We take care of you with that. There's live shows all week long. And then we have other shows as well. The MMA pod with Tommy. He does a great job there. And then our weekend shows behind the paywall, 1 and 4 o'clock NFL games. Keg, Coop's on there. Johnny's on there. Watto, I think Watto shows up. Isn't that the dude with the big arms? So a lot going on here. At Nuke the House. So make sure you sign up. Tyler, once again, how do they find you out there on Twitter, buddy? Is that the handle right there? And why the hell do you have an underscore?
Yeah, I mean, the other one was taken, so I had to find something else to put on the end of there. So that's how the underscore got there.
Very good.
Wait for Elon Musk to shut down the account that doesn't have the underscore and it's not being used so I can get my name.
You can find me on X at Holden Kushner. It's very easy. At Holden Kushner. No underscores. Tyler, once again, thanks for the time, buddy. Let's go nuke the house.